Hello, today I'm going to explain fixed duration task type. First of all, when should you use fixed duration task type? Let me give you an example. Let's say that you live in Europe somewhere and you have a training for Microsoft project and you have a trainer for United States. So he booked the flight from United States to that particular city in Europe. He has only 4 days, and after that he has got a flight back. Okay? So that means that, let's say, in that 4 days, training should be delivered. No matter if he's going to work with his or her students 5 days, 5 hours per day, 6 hours per day, 16 hours per day. Who cares? But that means that fixed duration task, the task must be finished in fixed duration, which is in my example 4 days. So when you have exact duration in which tasks should be fulfilled, in that case, you are going to use fixed duration task type. So for my example, I have task which has 4 days duration. I'm going to view the resource sheet, and you can see that I have, as I always have, John and Mary, and they are 100% available for work maximum before they become over-allocated. Okay, now, let me go to view, to details, task form, and here work. Okay, everything is fine. Now, first of all, I will mark this task as fixed duration. So here I should put fixed duration task type, and I will click OK. Now you can see the task has fixed duration. Let me switch on task usage. So here you will see when I scroll to task what will happen when I assign resources. So let's go to Excel. Here, remember the magic formula, work is duration multiplied by units. On my first example, I will use John with 100% and Mary with 50%. So let's go. Let me assign John and let me assign Mary. Since John will automatically be assigned with 100% and Mary as well, I should put for Mary 50%. Okay, now, according to formula, work is duration multiplied by units. We have 4 days of duration. John is going to work 100%, it means 32 hours, and Mary is going to work 50%, it is 16 hours. 4 days multiplied by 8 hours per day, multiplied by units. So let's go here once again, and you can see 4 days, John is going to work 100%, 32 hours, because duration multiplied by 8 hours multiplied by 100%. Duration multiplied by 8 hours multiplied by 50%. It results in 16 hours for Mary. Okay, now, if you want some further explanation how the calculation is done, please watch my previous video where I explain fixed units task type. Now, so I have fixed duration task type. I assign John and Mary, and now let me go through changing units and work. So first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change units for John to 50% and for Mary to 25%. So let's go here and let's say, okay, I don't want John to work 100% but 50%. And I don't want Mary to work 50% but 25%. Remember, nothing will happen before I hit on OK. When I hit on OK, I will have John is going to work 16 hours and Mary is going to work 8 hours because duration is fixed. So when I change units, duration is fixed, and you can see that John is going to work 50%, 4 days. Let's go to Excel. 4 days multiplied by 8 hours per day is 32 hours. Multiplied by 50% is 16 hours. 4 days for Mary, multiplied by 8 hours per day, which is 32 hours. Multiplied by 25% is 8 hours. Okay, but since duration is fixed, we can see on task usage, then John is going to work those 16 hours in those 4 days. And Mary is going to spend her 8 hours in 4 days as well, because duration is fixed. Now, let me go to the third example, and let me say that John is supposed to work 200% and Mary 100%. What will happen? So I'm going to say, John, you are going to work 200%. Mary, you are going to work 100%. I will hit on OK, and you will see that John is going to work 4 days multiplied by 8 hours per day, which is 32 hours, multiplied by 200%, which results in 64 hours, and Mary is going to work regularly 100%, which means 8 hours per day. In 4 days, she will spend 32 hours. Now let's go here and let's see that John is going to work 16 hours per day and Mary is going to work 8 hours per day. And by the way, of course, John is overallocated. Why is John overallocated? Let me go here and you will see that maximum amount which John can spend per task per day is 100%. Since we assigned him with 200%, he becomes automatically overallocated, which is as expected. And last but not least, let me see what will happen if I change. Now let me go back to previous example, which was like here. So primarily I assigned John with 100% and Mary with 50%, and now I'm going to change work. So I will not change units as I did before, but I'm going to change work. And I will say, okay, I want Mary to work 64 hours and John to work 32 hours, okay? So let's say for this task, I want, John to work 64 and Mary 32. I will get the same result as previous. So I will say, okay, John needs to work 64 hours and Mary needs 32 hours. When I click on OK, calculation remains the same. Why? Because we have fixed duration task type, and this will be recalculated that John is going to work 46 hours per day and Mary is going to work 32 hours per day. But units is here 100% and here 50%. Why is that? I'm going to task usage view and I'm going to choose field which is called peak. Peak means that for this task, John is going to work 200% and Mary is going to work 100%. So basically, now we are going, when we are changing hours in a way that units are going to be extended more than they were primarily assigned, then the magic formula change in the way that we can see that work is duration, okay, multiple by, now I will change these peak units. Okay, so when you look at here, you will see that the math doesn't work. 100% multiplied by 8 hours per day, multiplied by 4 days, will result in 32 hours. 4 days multiplied by 8 hours per day multiplied by 100%. 4 days multiplied by 8 hours is 32, multiplied by 50% should be 16, which is not. So since I changed work, units were changed, but peak units. Let me give you here. Let me show you here, peak. Okay, you can see that they are 100% and 50%. So those figures are equal. Peak is equal by units. But since we are going to change and say that John is going to work 46 hours and 64 hours and Mary is going to work 32 hours, when I put here 64, 32, and when I click on OK, this will remain, but this will be going to be changed, and as you can see. So work is duration multiple by peak units. Why is that? Because in previous earlier version it was changed, but then when it was changed here, it was applied to all tasks, and Microsoft Project made a progress since I'm not sure, version 2013, maybe 2010, with introducing peak units. So when you make a change like I did, you will get a change which only applies to the specific task. Okay, and last but not least, let me show you what happens. Now you know what happens if we change units, you know what happens if we change work, but what if we change duration? So since we have here formula, work is duration multiplied by units, or work is duration multiplied by peak units, who cares? You will see what will happen if I change, let's say, duration manually to 5 days. So either what can be changed, units or work. So by default, Microsoft Project will keep units same, and it will increase or decrease work. So since I put from, once again undo, from 4 days to 5 days here, and I click OK, work will be increased. Units are fixed. So you can see here in my Excel table that 5 days multiplied by 8 hours per day is 40 hours in total for John, multiplied by 100% results in 40 hours. For Mary, 5 days multiplied by 8 hours per day multiplied by 50% is 20 hours. So duration is same, but work is increased. Let me walk you through final example. If I put like here 8 days, I will put here 8 days. Okay, 8. You will see 8 days multiplied by 8 hours per day is 64 hours, multiplied by 100% for John, resulting 64 hours, sorry. I always make a mistake, 46 and 64. So this is 64. And for Mary, 8 days multiplied by 8 hours per day with 64 hours multiplied by 50% is 32 hours in total. And so when you change in fixed duration, when you change work, the units or peak units are going to be changed. When you change units, work is going to be changed. And when you change deliberately duration, then units will be the same, but work will be changed. Hope this helps. And this, my next video will be about fixed work. Until then, have a nice day.